Breaking news. A meat industry tycoon who championed Putin's cause in Germany. Klemens Tönnies, a German meat magnate, was a friend of Russia's for nearly 2 decades. He spoke highly of the Russian president, saying that every time they met, he would present Putin with a cured pork knuckle. Tönnies presided over a soccer team whose uniforms featured the logo of Gazprom, the state gas company of Russia. Others warned of Russia's rise as a global threat, but Tönnies stood by Vladimir Putin's government. The experiences of Tönnies are extremely common in Germany. Russia's ties to politically influential German businessmen date back decades. Starting with Chancellor Willy Brandt during the Cold War era, subsequent German leaders advocated for economic cooperation with Moscow to ensure peace and prosperity. Germany has surpassed all other Western countries as Russia's most significant trade partner and largest gas customer. Berlin's confidence in this policy, known as Ostpolitik, persisted even as Putin's Russia darkened. Russia exploited this bond to its advantage, and Tönnies reaped commercial benefits, as revealed by in-depth interviews with over 40 individuals with first-hand knowledge of Tönnies' activities or Gazprom's efforts to win allies in Germany, as well as the review of hundreds of documents. Schalke 04, the soccer team Tönnies chaired at the time and which Gazprom began sponsoring in 2006, was at the center of Gazprom's influence campaign. Gazprom employees in Berlin compiled a guest list of influential politicians and businesspeople to invite to Schalke's premium seating section for home games. Pitch-side advertisements for the Russian-German gas pipeline Nord Stream 2 began in 2017, despite Germany's lack of final regulatory approval, at a time when concerns about Russia's grip on European gas supplies were rising. Tönnies, in the meantime, followed the path of numerous other German companies and entered the Russian market. German exports were nearly $30 billion annually before Russia invaded Ukraine, more than any other European country. According to 2 of Tönnies' business partners, the companies he controlled received preferential treatment thanks to his connections with Putin and other high-ranking Russian officials. Over €100 million in loans and grants from the Russian government were given to these businesses. According to the paperwork, 1 pig was used as collateral on a 5-year loan from the state-owned Sberbank. The loan's worth was unclear to Reuters. After more than a year of fighting in Ukraine, many Germans are beginning to question whether it was wise to keep close ties with Russia. Berlin declared a radical shift in its foreign and defense policy after the invasion on February 24, 2022. Ukraine's dependence on Russian gas has plummeted, and Germany is now providing the country with tanks and other weapons systems. Tönnies has stated that communication with the Russian president has ceased. Investments in Russia were among those he sold. And now, dozens of Ukrainian refugees who have made their way to his meatpacking factory in his hometown in western Germany. In an interview with Reuters, Tönnies said that his company's involvement in the Russian market was similar to that of other major German corporations like Miele, Volkswagen, and Deutsche Telekom. All have completely severed or greatly reduced their ties to Russia at this point. According to Tönnies, there was a political and economic drive in the early 2000s to aid Russia's economic development. To emphasize his point, he recalled that in 2011, then-Chancellor Angela Merkel said that Nord Stream demonstrated Germany's commitment to a secure and strong partnership, and that in 2006, Moscow hosted the G8 summit. Our investments in Russia were wise from both a business and political perspective at the time. But given what we know now and the brutality of Russia's aggression against Ukraine, it's clear that we need to re-evaluate these actions. Merkel has defended her position on Russia. Germany sought a peaceful resolution after Moscow illegally annexed Crimea in 2014 and pro-Russian separatists launched attacks in eastern Ukraine, she told an interviewer late last year. A representative for Merkel's office declined to provide an interview for this piece. Tönnies added that he did not consider himself a friend or ally of Putin and that any subsidized loans or assistance his company received from the Russian government was merely the norm in order to attract foreign investment. According to him, no preferential treatment was given. Gazprom, which the Kremlin said it would refer comment requests about lobbying and its relationship with Taweni's to, did neither. The company claimed in a statement that it had achieved its goal of increased brand awareness through its sponsorship of Schalke 04. According to surveys of the German public, Gazprom has earned the reputation of being an economically successful and reliable international company which ensures a reliable supply of gas. 4 days after Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Schalke terminated its sponsorship agreement with Gazprom. In a statement, the club said that, from today's perspective, it is clear that Gazprom, particularly in its role as a Russian state-owned corporation, did not fit in with the values of the club as a partner overall. After losing Gazprom as a sponsor and dealing with a pandemic, Schalke said 2022 was extremely challenging, and reported a total loss of €19.4 million. Schalke has stated that it still faces financial liabilities of €141.5 million, despite significant budget cuts in recent years. Taweni's was born in 1956 in the small town of Reda-Wiedenbrück in western Germany to a family of butchers. In the 1970s, his older brother Bernd began expanding the company into a major meat processing concern, which it remains today. Clemens succeeded his uncle Bernd as head of the family business. Taweni's took over his older brother's position as chairman of the soccer club Schalke 04 in 2001. Blue-collar in origin, this team regularly placed in the top 5 of Germany's top soccer league and boasted a large and devoted fanbase. But the team needed a wealthy patron to pay off its debts. Gazprom, meanwhile, was trying to sponsor a German soccer club. A former executive at Gazprom told Reuters that the gas giant was inspired by Russian oligarch Roman Abramovich's 2003 purchase of English club Chelsea. By selling gas directly to European industry and households, Gazprom hoped to boost its reputation in the region and increase revenue. According to the ex-executive, they were going for the image of a respectable Russian who takes care of your heating. According to 2 sources close to Gazprom, Putin's then press secretary, Alexei Gromov, helped direct the charm offensive from the Kremlin into Western countries. A comment request sent to Gromov in his capacity as deputy head of the presidential administration went unanswered. 3 people close to Gazprom and 3 people close to Schalke say that former German Chancellor Gerhard Schröder introduced Taweni's to Gazprom executives. A year after leaving office in 2005, Schröder became chairman of the shareholders' committee at the Nord Stream pipeline consortium led by Gazprom. When asked for comment, Schröder remained silent. According to Taweni's statement, he was able to get in touch with Gazprom thanks to the help of German politicians and members of a German business lobby group. The statement failed to identify these individuals. It was agreed upon that Gazprom would become one of the many wealthy corporations using European soccer to promote their brands. According to 3 sources with knowledge of the deal, it was one of the largest sponsorships in German soccer at an annual value of around €20 million. Putin personally witnessed the signing of the document at the 5-star hotel Taschenbergpalais in Dresden, the eastern German city where the Russian president had previously worked as a KGB spy. Taweni's gave Putin a Schalke shirt featuring the Gazprom logo. Gazprom Germania's communications chief Burkhard Wolke made a PowerPoint presentation 2 years later. It proved that the sponsorship had effectively changed people's minds about Putin in Germany. When asked about the Russian president in 2007, 11% of respondents said they had favorable impressions of him. After a year, it had increased to 14%. Since he was the most visible German in Gazprom's inner circle, Schröder's reputation had changed as well. His approval rating increased by 13% to 52%. The slide stated that Gazprom hoped to gain more visibility and deepen communication between Russia and Germany as a result of the collaboration. Reuters was unable to confirm whether or not Wolke ever gave the presentation because he declined to comment for this piece. According to 5 people with experience at Gazprom Germania or dealings with Gazprom at Schalke, the unit regularly invited influential figures to the VIP box to watch games. The names were not decipherable by Reuters. The goal, according to one of the sources, was to offer a frame via hospitality for talks with decision-makers. Gazprom officials and other notables frequently congregated in the VIP lounges. Former German President Christian Wolff and future Foreign Minister and President Frank-Walter Steinmeier both attended a match between Schalke and Duisburg in 2011. Twenties and Gazprom employees were also present in the stadium's VIP section. Steinmeier and Wolff's representatives have stated that they were invited to the event by the German Football Association.